Alright, what's good everybody? So today I'm going to be trying my best to teach you a little bit about meshing and how you can defend your base from it. It's not going to stop it 100%, but at least if you know how to mesh in some ways, you could help yourself prevent it in other ways. And keep in mind, knowing this stuff, I've literally never been meshed in Ark in the last 2 years, I want to say. It's been a long time I played Ark. I have took a couple months break, and I don't think I've ever been meshed. But yeah, that's kind of the truth. Except for one time, Pickles Ark, a long time ago. I didn't really put mesh fences down, but you know. So there are a couple of different ways to mesh. I'm trying to get all the items that you really can use right now to do that with. So pretty much you have your foundations. It literally doesn't matter which one it is. You have your beds. Some people say that it's harder to mesh with the tech sleeping pod than it is with other beds. I don't know why, and it doesn't seem to be true at all, so I might just allow beds to be crafted like normal. Another thing is that people say sleeping bags are easier. I think that is actually true. Sleeping bags are a lot easier because you don't need to put them on a foundation, but all the other things you do need to put on a foundation. Anyway, I'll kind of elaborate on that. Let me just get that too so you guys can see about that. Teleporters are very easy to mesh with. Sometimes you might need stone cliff plats, and they're also good for the claiming radius and stuff like that. So right now we're in the ice cave, a very, very common spot to be meshed in. So pretty much what we're gonna do is, like I said, it doesn't matter what foundation you use, but what does sort of matter is that you are in either orbit cam or you are in third person. Very easy to do with third person. And I've never actually really meshed the ice cave. I think this would actually kind of work though. It seems like, so basically you put your foundation down, you go in third person, right? If you're in first person, it just kind of goes along the wall. It doesn't go outside. But if you go in third person, you can kind of tell, okay, this is kind of snapping outside a little bit, and then boom, pretty simple, pretty easy. You get what I'm saying? It's not that complicated at all. I think I'm trying my best. And then you get your bed. Now, with the bed, you just put it inside and on the foundation and inside the mesh, and you're easy, good to go. Now, if you want to keep these foundations around for a while, you're definitely going to want to double snap them so that they don't decay. And then just go ahead, spawn it on the bed, and then you'll be on the other side of the mesh. Now, the same exact thing goes for tech sleeping pods. Like I said, I literally don't understand what's the difference between the three different beds. Some people say that tech sleeping pods are harder. It doesn't seem to be the truth at all, at least in any of the scenarios that I've seen. Like I said, I just don't understand. But now, there's going to be some walls which are very hard to mesh, and it's kind of hard to find those specific walls. Like, all right, you know what? Right here's a kind of good example. You can't really get a foundation through the wall right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit hard. It just, like, doesn't work at all with this little mesh layer slash wall type of thing, okay? And it's also being really glitchy, which I don't know why. But what you could do is, let me fly. You could grapple to kind of recreate the scenario. You're going to want to kind of get this foundation into the wall as much as you possibly can. Then you're going to want to use a teleporter and try to place this as close or kind of like in the wall as you possibly can. So like that. I mean, I think any of this would really work, because like if more than half of it is inside the wall, you should 100% be good to go. And now if you use this, if you put another teleporter down, I don't think I have all the tech engrams, but let's see if I can get this to work. Yeah, so we'll use this teleporter, and now we are outside of the mesh. Boom, that worked. We kind of got stuck inside for a second, but that still worked, and we got teleported outside the mesh. Now, at least on our server, we have unlimited pickup, so you can actually just pick up this teleporter once you're done with it. And I know this is going to kind of make meshing a little bit easier. It's not really my goal, and it's not to make it more popular. This is really just to show people how to mesh so that you can set up your base to not get meshed. It's really easy, especially with the teleporter. Oh, actually, when you use a teleporter, it can't be picked up anymore. So make sure you keep that in mind. But 100%, if you can't mesh with beds, you 100% should just use teleporters, easiest way so that you can get outside your base. Now, a lot of people like to set up turrets outside the mesh. Highly encouraged, highly allowed. I don't really care so much if people complain about your turret shooting outside the mesh. I'll kind of give you a warning, say, yo, fix your turrets, stop them from shooting outside the mesh, and we'll kind of be good with that. Another thing is, put Valinos outside of the mesh. That is a really, really good way to stop it. Like, I'm not even kidding. Even inside the mesh, if you have like Volinos against the wall, when I played small tribes in caves, we never got meshed because we have Volinos everywhere, even against walls. If their head's like against the wall and you have it on turret mode and aggressive and everything, it'll shoot outside the base. It'll shoot through the mesh. Like, it's kind of glitchy. And like I said, if people do complain about that, then, you know, we'll give you a warning. It's not that big of a deal. I'd much rather that you don't get meshed than people kind of crying about, you know, your mesh defenses being too OP, basically. So kind of go around. Sometimes, especially in the ice cave, I think there's a lot of teleport spots, so it is definitely a little bit harder. But if you guys are like anywhere else, dude, you guys are gonna have a very easy time putting mesh defenses down. Like I was saying, the best thing that I would encourage is, yes, use turrets, but even without using turrets, it's still really easy to prevent meshing if you just put spam like foundations and everything like that all around. There are other ways than just doing this to mesh. So this isn't like the only way. I believe like a kangaroo and a crab works and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of reports about that still being in the game and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different ways that you can mesh. This is just one of the easy and like most common ways in my opinion. So this is what I would highly encourage you guys to do. Just go around, place a bunch of mesh beds, and spam. So, and let me show you guys another example as to why spamming is sort of like my favorite mesh defense. And like I said, I never really put mesh turrets down in my opinion because they've just never been necessary, at least in my scenarios. Maybe some of you guys have. I don't blame you. But let's say, for instance, this mountain's going to be really bad because it's kind of harder to mesh a slope surface. It's really easy to mesh like a straight surface, but I'll give it a go, and we'll kind of use some examples as to how. Just give me 1 second. Let me think of a good scenario. All right. So, my scenario is a little bit weird. I should have just found an actual base spot to use this scenario in. But let's just say, right, this is my base. My base is on top of this little rock right here. So, this is my base, and let's just kind of ignore that. Let's just say that if anybody wants to mesh me, they're going to have to go under this rock. You know what I mean? So, what they're going to do, and just ignore the foundation. Like, let's just not act like those foundations are there. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. But let's just say that my base is above this rock. And the only way for me to get mesh is down here. So what people are going to do is they're going to try to mesh from under here. So what you can do is the same exact thing that I showed you before, and now boom, you're good to go. You can spawn into there. Now, like I said, the only way that you can really get meshed is through kind of under this rock. So now I'm under my base, and boom, I can just kind of grapple up to here, C4, destroy it, we're good to go. You get what I'm saying? But if you spam this entire thing off with foundations, you really don't need to have turrets. Although turrets and velos would be an extra really good mesh defense to make it super secure, and once again, highly encourage it. This is also a really good thing to most likely keep meshers out. If they can't build in to your mesh spot, they're probably not going to mesh you. Like, only a few people, it's not as popular to know all these other special mesh mechanics that, you know, you don't really need to place a structure. For a lot of them, there's like the chair meshing where you sit on a chair and everything like that. Those require you to place a foundation. But if you have foundations in your mesh, then nobody can place a foundation right here. Like, they're not going to be able to mesh you. You get what I'm saying? So this works really well, and then you leave a bed on here until you want to come down here and put some turrets up and stuff like that. So this is really good for that. And also, another thing is that it's kind of a bad scenario for like right here, but there are some scenarios where you can use a cliff platform to kind of do the exact same thing. Really hard and very situational kind of based, I would say. But sometimes you can kind of mesh through and then put a bed on that side of the cliff plat if that's like your last resort. I would encourage you guys to do that. And now, once again, the difference between the sleeping bag, although not a lot of you guys it really matters to, a sleeping bag is like a bed that doesn't require a foundation. So this is why sleeping bags are banned on everywhere, because this is not even protected against when it comes to foundations. You can't stop this when it comes to foundations at all. So that's why sleeping bags are banned. If Ark stopped being stupid and made some game mechanic changes, like even slight ones where this is affected by foundations, then, you know, it would be a lot better, because I actually really like sleeping bags. Although completely off topic, that is how you can mesh easily and make mesh preventatives easily. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. Hopefully this doesn't just make everybody start meshing now. Like I said, if you guys kind of get meshed, it's kind of your fault if you didn't build mesh preventatives. If you built mesh preventatives and you still got meshed, well, you got meshed by some pretty hardcore meshers, and then it's not exactly your fault. But if you don't even have the simplest of preventatives to stop yourself from getting meshed, it's 100% your fault, and you are just being lazy and ignorant, and you should really make them ASAP. But anyway, hopefully this helps some of you guys prevent being meshed in the future, and good luck out there. Also, if you guys have any suggestions or better tips, leave them in the comment section down below. I'd really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.